Thanks for joining us this Sunday evening. I'm Mark Salinger. Tonight, one person is dead and another is in the hospital after two small planes collided midair. Happened this morning at the Fort Morgan Municipal Airport on Colorado's Eastern Plains. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause has the latest from law enforcement on what's ahead for the investigation.
The Fort Morgan Airport is closed, and it'll stay that way until investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board can get here to investigate a plane crash that happened midair on Sunday morning.
Yes, it is. Very sad.
Morgan County Under Sheriff John Horton says they got the call around 10:45 Sunday morning.
We know that one plane was on approach to the airport and was struck by the other plane.
There were two planes, a Cessna 172 and an Extra 300, an aerobatic airplane. Horton says both had two people inside when they collided midair.
The two occupants of the Cessna had minor injuries and were released at the scene. One of the occupants from the other plane was transported to the local hospital, and the fourth occupant was pronounced deceased by the Morgan County Coroner's Office at the scene.
9 News aviation expert Greg Feist says there's a lot of unanswered questions about what led to the crash.
They are rare events, but again, they do happen, and we've had a number of them, unfortunately, in the last 6-8 months across the country.
But why? Feist says could be a number of things.
Fort Morgan is what is considered an uncontrolled airport. There is no control tower there. And so it's incumbent upon pilots who are flying in and out of that airport to report their position over a common frequency. That's going to be a key for investigators to see if, in fact, radio calls were made by both aircraft pilots.
Feist says the styles of aircraft could have made it challenging for the two planes to see each other. He says investigators will look into visibility as well as possible issues with the planes to determine why this happened.
So investigators have quite a bit of work to do other than just looking at the wreckage to determine how the two aircraft collided.
Investigators with the NTSB are expected to arrive Monday afternoon. Until then, the crash site will remain blocked off and closely watched over by sheriff's deputies. In Fort Morgan, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
And there was more trouble in the skies today, this time at DIA. Air Canada says one of their planes taking off from Denver on its way to Toronto had to return to Denver after a strong odor was reported in the galley area of the plane. Officials say the plane landed safely. More than 100 passengers and 5 crew members were on board. They all evacuated the plane via the emergency slides. One passenger suffered a minor injury during that evacuation process. No word yet on what caused that smell on board that plane. Switching gears now to the weather, another cool night tonight. After a few days of rain today, finally dried out, and it was beautiful out there. Corey Reppenhagen joining us this evening. Corey, we got some nice temperatures heading into the work week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, today was nice, and as we get into the work week, our holiday, technically, a lot of us have Monday off, and it's going to be a great day. No rain in the forecast. And that'll carry all the way through the week with the temperatures and just isolated showers. So great week coming our way. Here was the temperatures that were reported across the area today. Looking real nice there. 80 degrees in Denver, 73 in Granby, 85 in Durango. So really nice all the way across the entire state today. It's a great night here in downtown Denver. In the darkness of night, here's 60s across most of the area. It's 70 degrees right here in South downtown Mile High City. And tomorrow is going to be a great day for outdoor activities or go for launch, including all your patio activities. If you want to get the barbecue out and have dinner on the deck tomorrow night, it's going to be a great night for it. 84 high temperature during the day, nice and dry conditions, mostly sunny all the way across the day. Here's your rain chances. Once again, we're looking at no chance for rain. Very few clouds in the sky. It might be a little bit cloudier, but no chance for rain during those days. So it looks great. Here's the temperature forecast for the rest of the state. Everybody gets a real nice day, and I'll talk more about how this continues on into the week in just a few minutes.
Corey, thank you. There's some good news on the western slope. The 5th largest wildfire in Colorado history is now nearing 100% containment. The Leaf Fire has burned for several weeks now, more than 137,000 acres in total, or about 214 square miles. Now it's 95% contained. The fire is just 3 acres shy of surpassing the Hayman fire to become the 4th largest in state history. Now, despite its size, though, only 3 homes have burned. Some remarkable work by the firefighters there. Meanwhile, the Derby fire continues to burn in Eagle and Garfield counties. It's now more than 5,700 acres in size with just 6% containment. Fire officials say crews are working along the fire's edge ahead of the warmer weather. Obviously, this fire much smaller than what's burned with the Lee fire further west. Moving now to Aurora, where police continue to investigate a shooting from last night. An Aurora police officer shot and killed a man after what police say started as a traffic stop. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch was at the scene today, where community members want answers about what happened.
Only a few details remain from what happened at 6th and Billings in Aurora. But what's new are the flowers around this electrical box, crossing the ground, and Alice Hayes.
So, this is awful.
She didn't know the man shot and killed here. She wasn't here when it happened, but she knows his story.
My husband and I came out early this morning, and that's our cross. Right around here is where that young man transitioned.
Saturday night, Aurora police say one of its officers tried stopping a driver for a traffic violation. Investigators say the driver crashed into 2 cars before getting out of his vehicle. APD says the man approached the officer in a fighting stance.
He immediately became aggressive.
Chief Todd Chamberlain says the suspect didn't comply with commands.
At some point, it appears that a gun was seen by the officer on the ground, and the suspect appeared to be walking towards that weapon.
Witnesses say they didn't see a weapon.
From my vantage point, I saw the man's both of his hands. He was unarmed, and that was very clear.
Video from the scene shows the officer with his gun pointed at the man. Chamberlain maintained the officer saw a weapon.
He approached our officer. There was a weapon on scene that we know without question. There was discussion by the suspect trying to either retrieve that weapon or get assistance.
Loved ones say the man was a father and a brother, and Hayes says he should be here.
He represented the black community.
And since he can't be here, she will.
But he's voiceless now.
Janelle Finch reporting. In Brighton, a man accused of shooting at police during a pursuit a few days ago is now being held on suspicion of first-degree murder in a completely different case. Police say officers found the body of a woman in an abandoned car on Friday. They believe she died from a gunshot wound. Investigators later learned that the woman had been associated with 50-year-old Jamie Benavidez. He's the man you see on your screen right now. He was already in custody when the woman's body was found. On Thursday, police arrested Benavidez for armed carjacking that led to a chase and then a shooting. Documents obtained by 9 News investigate show he had been arrested more than 60 times before. Tomorrow, new work requirements kick in for Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP, or food stamps as it's most commonly known. These changes are being enacted by the Trump administration. This means there are new work requirements for able-bodied adults ages 18 through 64. This will also impact how long people can stay on SNAP. Recipients will now have to work at least 20 hours a week or 80 hours a month. There are exceptions to the rules for people with children or who are not considered mentally able to work. The Congressional Budget Office says more than 2 million Americans could lose food stamp benefits because of these new requirements. Today, a federal judge temporarily blocked the deportation of some unaccompanied Guatemalan minors in U.S. custody right now. According to CNN, the Trump administration has identified more than 600 unaccompanied children from Guatemala in custody of Health and Human Services to potentially deport. The children are believed to not have a parent in the U.S., though they may have a relative. The program, in coordination with the Guatemalan government, was supposed to start today. The judge ordered the U.S. government not to remove any of them for at least 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the Trump administration's plans for mass deportations could soon expand to the U.S.'s 3rd largest city. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced today that more operations are expected to begin in Chicago. It comes after DHS requested support from officials at a naval station 35 miles north of the city. Noem did not provide more details about a planned surge of federal officers in Chicago. President Trump has threatened to send the National Guard to Chicago to try and curb crime, similarly to what he ordered in Washington, D.C. Illinois officials say they plan to sue Trump if he goes forward with that plan. In Minnesota, church services resumed today in Minneapolis at the site of a deadly school shooting earlier this week. 2 students were killed and dozens were injured when a shooter opened fire from the street outside Annunciation Catholic Church on Wednesday. Today, Sunday Mass was held at the church. Annunciation's pastor offered words of healing and encouragement to his congregation.
We recognize that this is, for all of us, it's a humble beginning. And it won't be easy, and we'll never be able to get back to the same place. But what we do is we begin again. We begin anew.
The shooting also drew reaction from the Vatican. Pope Leo told a crowd of followers in St. Peter's Square today that the, quote, pandemic of arms needs to end.